Welcome back to DVC Weekly. This is episode 92. My name is Jason Erpling. I'm the broker of Buy and Sell DVC. I'm here with Scott Ferrioli.
I'm the owner of DVC-Rental.com and BuyandSellDVC.com.
And today is November 9th, 2022. Hopefully you enjoyed Jersey Week. And the 11-month window is going to be October 9th, 2023. And the 7-month window is June 9th, 2023. Thanks for tuning in. We'll get right into it. We're going to start with the buy and sell DVC side of things. And the question is, am I buying too many points? So for the most part, you cannot buy too many points. However, I will advise on a couple different tips. Let's say you want to buy 500 points. I would recommend buying, a 200-point deed, another 200-point deed, and a 100-point deed to give you that flexibility. Because if you buy a 500-point deed, and eventually you want to, we only need 300 points or something, it has to be sold as a 500-point deed. So that's the only thing in regard to buying too many points. Buying too many points is not going to be an issue because you can always rent the points out, for example, through DVC-Rental. You can stay longer. You can get larger rooms. You can invite friends. You can invite other family. You can invite us. The more points, just simply going to give you way more options.
Yes.
So you're not going to have an issue if you buy more points. It's really... it's almost impossible to buy more points and then you're also allowed to bank your points, rent out your points, let other people use them, experience, things that, not every member is going to stay in a bungalow at the Polynesian. Not every member is going to stay in a 3-bedroom cottage at Vero Beach. So really it goes back to, that's the beauty of the flexibility of DVC. Yeah, you may, stay in a studio for, 20 vacations in a row, and it's amazing. Yeah. But it also has other options if you want to bring more people, get the larger rooms, experience those opportunities out there.
And you made a very good point about getting smaller deeds. Because again, when you want to sell them, we see it all the time, that somebody's got a 400-point contract and they go, I want to sell 200 points. You can't just split them off. And also, when you go to sell your contract, if you've got a large contract, typically it gets less demand, it sells for less money, because you have to think, a lot of families who are coming in, either it's their first time purchasing, maybe they're adding on. Most people are looking to add on 100 points, maybe 200 points. Like, most people are not going to be looking, like, it would be the same exact thing. Is it easier to sell maybe a Honda Civic or a Lamborghini? You've got a zillion people who are in the market who can afford a Civic. If you're trying to sell a 500-point contract, it's selling a Lamborghini. It's be very limited the amount of people who possibly have that type of money to buy such a large contract. So splitting them up makes it easier to move them around, to deed them to your children, to sell just part of it if you find that it's just too many points. And when you go to resell it, it'll sell quicker and for a higher price because, again, you could be eliminating a lot of the people who are looking for a contract if you've got a very large contract. Yeah,
and you made a very good point there, because typically someone that falls into the newer category of learning about DVC, and then they see a 25-point property, they say, well, who would ever buy a 25-point property? And in the blink of an eye, it's sale pending.
Yeah.
Because there's so many members out there that are looking to add on. So yes, as Scott said, it doesn't matter the resort. It could be Hilton Head. If there's a 25-point property at Hilton Head versus a 500-point property at Hilton Head, the 25 property is going to sell for more per point. Obviously not an overall higher purchase price, but more per point than the 500-point property, and it's going to sell much faster.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
a lot of DVC members, they love DVC so much that they do add-ons and they want to add on another property. And when they're adding on, they're going to add on something smaller, like a 25-point. As they go, we'll go to Hilton Head, every 2 years, and we'll take that 25 points, make it 50, and go for a couple days. Most people who are adding on aren't going, we've got 200 points, I'm going to add on a 500-point contract. That's a big add-on. They're looking for smaller stuff to just periodically add on. And there's a lot of people who own dozens of contracts because they're constantly just adding on little amounts as their kids grow up or as they're realizing they need larger rooms. They'll add on 100 more and 100 more. And I really loved our stay at Riviera. I'll add on 200 more there. So it's very easy to just keep adding on smaller amounts. It's typically hard. Most people don't sit there and say, yeah, I own 3 contracts and I'm going to add on this gigantic beast over here.
So yeah, I mean, so the short answer is you cannot buy too many points because you'll figure out a way what to do with them.
And again, as Jason mentioned, you can rent them typically for around double what the maintenance fees are. So there's always a nice return that you'll get every single year as well.
Right, and it's one of those things you don't have to worry about the maintenance of it and this, like you can just work right with DVC-Rental. A lot of members just provide them their login and password. They can make the reservations, boom, boom. So it's super easy.
Yep, absolutely.
And now we move on to the food review of the week.
Come here, I'm gonna eat you! Get in my belly!
So for today's food review, I am going a little far back. I am back in California again. It is July. I am having a great time. It's early on. I am back at the Red Rose Tavern at Disneyland. This is a quick service restaurant, and this one's relatively basic. I was like, sorry, wait till the end. I thought this was a fantastic flatbread. It's just a pizza. It's the garden mozzarella flatbread at Red Rose Tavern. Not something I'd normally order. It's seasoned tomatoes, fresh mozzarella, basil, balsamic glaze, and tomato sauce. A lot of times I'd get either plain pizza or maybe like a pepperoni or sausage. I decided to go with a little fresh mozzarella and the balsamic glaze, and it was really, really good. I was super impressed with this. I never had balsamic glaze on a pizza, so it's got a little bit of like a tang to it, but it complemented it really, really nicely. $9.99, which...
It seems like a good price.
It's expensive, but for California, it's a good price. Because I figured that's typically what you'd spend in Disney World for pepperoni or something like that, or sometimes even maybe $10.99. I figured out in California, you're absolutely right. I figured they'd be charging $11.99, $12.99 for this. So $9.99, really, really good price for Disneyland. I give this an 8.6. I really enjoyed this. Again, never balsamic on a pizza again. I would, if I went, again, Red Rose
Wait, did you
Tavern,
say never? What?
I never had balsamic on a pizza before. I would absolutely get this again. Really, really good. And again, a nice complement between the balsamic and everything else, just like the tanginess and like the sweetness of the regular pizza. I mean, what happens, I saw the picture of it. I'm like, that looks really good. It's different. I know my wife was not going to want that. I was like, I'm getting it for myself. It's, personal pizza. Really, really happy I did. Really great option. Very impressed. 8.6.
And now we're on to the DVC-Rental side of things. And it looks like we might be getting a little spicy today.
Oh, it's not spicy. So in the past, we've had a couple people asking if we do something. A lot of times they don't know the term. The term is split stays. And what a split stay is, somebody will come and say, I would like to do 7 nights. I'd like to do 3 nights at Animal Kingdom and 4 nights at Grand Floridian. Are you able to do that? And the answer is yes. We can always book split stays, whether it's at the 7 months out or 11 months out where we need 2 different DVC members. We can absolutely take care of it for you. When it's less than 7 months out, obviously it's a little bit easier because we could have one DVC member book both stays for you. If it's more than 7 months in advance, we specifically need to have an Animal Kingdom owner book their Animal Kingdom portion and a Grand Floridian owner book the Grand Floridian portion for you. But we can absolutely take care of it. It's the same exact price. There are a couple other companies. If you book more than 7 months out, they do charge you a penalty. There's no penalty with us, whether it's 7 months out, 11 months out, it's still the same price, still includes our no questions asked travel insurance. Understand though that please, if you think of doing a split stay, we try to have everything booked. We say within 24 hours. A lot of times it's booked within 24 minutes. With the split stay, because we do need 2 different owners, understand it could possibly just take a little bit longer just because we have to work with 2 different individuals. But again, we can very easily take care of it. And I like the idea of a split stay.
Have you ever done a split stay?
I've done split stays.
Oh, you have?
But before we moved here, I did split stays. And eventually my wife nixed the split stay because, to be 100% honest with you, I love the split stay because my favorite one was we did was Animal Kingdom and Beach Club. And just because they were such different resorts, you know, you had Animal Kingdom, which is dark and exotic and kind of further away from everything and quiet and just, again, very African themed and remote. And then splitting up with Beach Club, where everything, you know, you're right by Epcot, you're in the center of everything, it's busier, you've got the great pool there. So it was like we had a beach vacation and like, it wasn't actually like, you know, an African vacation, but I mean, that's the theming and that's what you feel like. I mean, and they're like polar opposites, you know, one is, you know, beachy and the other one is like this African theme. And it was just two completely opposite things. And it was, you know, one 7 night or 8 night trip that became two completely separate trips that each had their own specific feel. And we did that a few times, but after the last one, because what would honestly happen is that we had little kids at the time and my wife was the one who had to pack up everything. I mean, I could have, but my wife took care of everything for us. And after, you know, getting all the stuff for the kids and, you know, the juice boxes and the milk, whatever, and moving stuff around and packing the kids, and she was just like, we're not doing split stays anymore.
Yeah, because you get comfortable in your room.
Yeah, you get comfy. A lot of times, you get
that's
it.
The reason we haven't never done a split stay.
I want to pack in here and I'm good to go. And, you know, reach out to me again in 8 days. It could absolutely be a pain during a split stay because you have to be out of the room by 11 and you might not be able to check into the new resort until 4 p.m. So essentially you have 5 hours in there where you could be homeless.
And a lot of questions you see on the internet if you just want to go into it. So let's say someone, you know, doesn't have a car or anything. Mm-hmm. You want to explain the luggage situation?
Yep. Disney will. What the best thing to do is that you said pack up your room, give your luggage to Bell Services. They will transfer everything to the new hotel for you. In the meantime, go to the parks, enjoy your day. It was always tougher for me because I was working. A lot of times I'd want to come back in the middle of the day to have, like, you know, a desk to work on and to be able to knock off some DVC stuff. But if you're able to and you shut down on vacations, go to the park, enjoy yourself, and then you just come back to the new resort after 4 o'clock. Odds are your room's going to be ready for you, and you just check in again. And again, they'll hold all your cold stuff for you as well. So if you've got formula, milks, stuff that could possibly go bad, they have a cold storage at every resort, and they will keep all your stuff cold for you so it doesn't spoil or anything.
Oh, I don't think I realized that. So how does that? So
you can tell them. You can say, you know, this bag needs to be refrigerated. You know, it's got medicine and it's got the formula and it's got whatever it is that needs to be refrigerated, and they'll put that specifically in cold storage. So you just let them know, like, this is cold storage. Like in the past, I've handed over my backpack with my laptop in there, and I've said, please, my laptop is in here. You know, be careful with this one. And they'll put like a little fragile tag on it, so they know to be maybe a little less aggressive, knowing that there's electronics in there that could break. But yeah, Disney will take care of you. They'll transfer all your luggage for you. You go to the parks, enjoy your day, show up at the brand new resort, and everything will be waiting for you when you get there.
I've never experienced it again. It really has to do with the whole packing, unpacking thing. So
it's fun when you don't have to do it.
Yeah. That sounds much better when you don't have to do it.
When you don't do it, you know, we have to pack up everything. It's wonderful. My poor wife was like, we're done with the split stays. But again, if you don't have small children, a lot easier, a lot less stuff to worry about, and strollers. And
so the audience is going to be curious. Do you have a percentage on the number of DVC-rental requests you get that want to do a split stay? I'm sure it's a small number,
yeah.
But it does happen.
It happens, maybe 5%.
And would you say that there's a combo that you see most often? Like, I want to start here, then go here, or it's just all completely random?
It feels like it's random, but for some reason, it's popping in my head that possibly Grand Floridian and Beach Club maybe have a few more split stays in there. I'm thinking especially maybe Beach Club, because what happens is somebody will say, I want to go to Beach Club, and we'll say, it's a small resort. Of the 7 nights, 3 of them are sold out. You know, there's only 4 nights left, and they'll say, get me those 4 nights, and then I'll figure out where to do the next 3. And I think that's a lot of times what happens. A lot of times, I think a lot of people maybe aren't like, you know, I want 3 here and 4 here. They'll say, I'm looking for, you know, 7 nights here, and, you know, you're only showing that there's 4 of those nights. What can I do? And, you know, we'll just book it that way.
Oh, that's good.
You want these 4, we'll lock you in. Now let's figure out what you want to do for the other 3. There's 5 choices left.
Well, that's a good point right there. So yeah, they're checking. They're like, oh, I wish we could do 7 nights here at this particular resort, but it only has X amount of nights. Book that, and then.
Or some people will sit there and say, You know, is there a great way, and there's really not, is there a great way to look for the first 2 weeks of October? I'm looking for some boardwalk in that time. And we could very easily pull it up and say, yeah, you know, we're seeing, you know, these 4 nights this week in October and 3 weeks up, you know, the week before it. And then they'll say, okay, you know, grab those 4, and now what can we do on either side of those? Or, you know, so essentially they'll say, I know I want this, lock that in for me, and now I'll go in here and I'll figure out the second half of my stay.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yep.
The possibilities are endless with DVC-Rental. They're just...
It's amazing.
It's endless. And do you get any Walt Disney World, Vero Beach occasionally?
Not a lot.
Okay.
Because
I was just curious if people like to start at Vero and then end at Disney, or start at Disney and end at Vero.
We don't get a lot of those.
Okay.
I could tell you what you should absolutely do. And it's an absolutely fantastic combination. You do Disney World first. Absolutely do Disney World first. Because after doing Disney World, you are tired and you've been walking around 20,000 steps a day, your feet are hurting. That's when you go to Vero Beach and you mellow out. Because Vero Beach is just a mellow out place, not a lot of walking. It's just laying on the beach, going in the water, going down the water slide, laying by the pool, playing a little mini golf. I mean, it's a mellow, relaxing place. So don't switch them up, because after your Disney World trip, you know, a lot of times, you know, they say you need a vacation from your vacation. Because I used to come down for 8 nights when I lived in New Jersey, and I'd be exhausted by the time I got back to New Jersey. Because you've done so much work, and you've been up, and you've been active, and it takes a lot out of you, and the travel. So definitely, if you're doing a combination with Vero Beach, Walt Disney World first, then Vero Beach to mellow out.
Perfect. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that tip. Let us know if you've experienced a split stay. If you have any split stay secrets, share them with the rest of the audience, and be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. Come on back next week.
Definitely, please make sure to check out Buy and Sell DVC's YouTube page. Jason's trying to get to 1,000 likes so we can take off this tie. The DVC rental page is wonderful. We are well over 1,000 likes. We appreciate it. You're welcome to like us there, but we need some love on the Buy and Sell page. So please like and subscribe to our Buy and Sell page. Thank you very much.